Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
And we are back. It is the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate all of you guys joining us on a beautiful Wednesday evening, Wednesday night. It is Hump Day, baby. Broder, real quick, show your shirt real quick. Can we just start it off with this?
It's Wendy's.
It's a perfect shirt.
Wendy Peppercorns.
Beautiful. I don't know what happened right away. The show started and I just thought Broder's shirt is amazing.
Hey.
I just got my J. Cole shirt on today.
Pretty amazing if you work it out.
Shout out J. Cole.
Yeah,
Fresh off that #1.
Shout out number 2. Shout out J. Cole.
Fresh off that #1.
Oh yeah, baby. All right, hey, welcome in everyone. We appreciate you guys all locking in with us. Obviously, my name is Booner. We've got Broder here.
Hi.
We've got the one, the only, from the heavyweights, Chris Platty,
Yes,
going back-to-back
sir.
shows.
Yes, sir.
How you
Yes,
feeling,
sir.
Chris?
I'm good, man. I'm
Ready for this
happy
Pistons
to be
game?
here. I'm just honored to be here, man. It's a huge honor. It's a privilege, man. To call you guys my friends, my coworkers is unbelievable.
Oh, so we're
feeling.
just your coworkers.
He said friends
I
right
said
before
friends. I
that.
said
All right,
friends
I'm just
first.
making sure, man. I wanted to
right.
test him a little bit.
Got your back.
I was
That
literally
was very kind of
complimenting
you.
you
That
and
was very
gassing you
kind.
up like a superhero, and you're just out here trying to flip the script.
No,
on me.
no,
never mind,
I'm
man.
happy.
Y'all are welcome. I'm here.
I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. You're welcome to the bottom of the totem pole of Woodward Sports. It is Woodward Nights. Nick, how are we doing today? I know you're over here
Let's
bringing
go,
energy.
and that is NBA savant Chris Platty over there in the TD booth. Let's go, boys. I'm fired up. We got a Pistons game. It's a huge spread, huge game on the road. We're underdogs. Maybe we'll pull one out tonight. Who knows? Just happy to be here. Probably not,
And
but
according
I wouldn't bet on
according
it.
to you, the Pistons will not win another game.
Yeah, I said probably lose by 60 tonight, but you know what? I'm going into it with good vibes. Let's
That
go.
switch
Let's
quick.
have a night on Woodward Nights. Let's
This
go.
how fast that switch. He went from hopefully we pull off the window. They're probably going to lose by 60 tonight.
We have a very polarizing crew already so far tonight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Well,
but-
you know, a little
oh,
bullshit.
yeah.
Hey, you're giving me a compliment. I'm gonna rip on you. Hey, Pistons are gonna win. Actually, they're gonna lose. Go blue. Go green.
Whoa, don't say that.
I don't.
Go green.
We do have a go green.
Oh, we do have
Yeah.
a go
Oh
green,
man, you know I had to represent.
Yeah.
Cheaters over
You
there.
know we coming out here.
Oh yeah, you're coming, all right. Come on, man.
Pause.
All right, hey, let's get into it. We have a packed show for you guys. We have some Lions stuff. Getting into this Lions-Chargers game a little bit. Dan Campbell spoke at a press conference today. Some injury updates. Broder you were in Allen Park today? No, but he did have
It was Players' Day off. Dan Campbell had a quick press conference.
Love it. We didn't get a practice report if they practiced, and it seemed like the practice report was basically what
It was a hypothetical.
Yeah, which is so
Here.
weird that they do that. I
Got
feel
it right
like
here for you.
here's the practice report.
2
Limited practices. Donovan Peoples-Jones, which I heard that his whole time in Cleveland this year so far, he was never on the practice report or the injury report.
Mm-hmm.
First week here in Detroit, he's listed as ribs.
Slo's barbecue is really good. It takes me out a little bit too.
Okay.
Yeah. You ever had ribs from Slo's?
Slows. I'm pretty sure Slows is
Yeah,
at
baby.
Comerica now.
It is?
Yep, so shout out to them.
That's where Phil, too.
Halapalooavati Vaitai, back injury. He's limited practice. I don't know if I messed that up or not, Broder. You can figure that one out in a little bit. But 4 guys all full practice. Khalil Dorsey, Jonah Jackson, David Montgomery, and Frank Ragnow. The boys were out. They were about, and they were playing hard tonight. Or not tonight, but today, if they would have practice yesterday. Which next segment, we're going to get into it, kind of the full practice, kind of Dan Campbell's thing. I clipped up a couple things. Dan Campbell talked about those 3 guys and practicing yesterday. Seemed like they were a full go yesterday, which is great to hear. No worries kind of on that end. Let's start this off here, though, real quick.
Yes.
I'll go over the rest of the show in a little bit.
Hey, just
First thing here
ease
we have
into
on
it.
the prep. Big D Energy.
Yeah.
They did a Woodward Sports rankings. What was I watched it. I went and tuned in.
Yeah, I know some of you guys in the chat were there.
Shout out to the chat. I
Yeah.
love this chat so much.
We had
man.
a ton of support there.
We did.
Some of the rankings out of it was Spenny, from the heavyweights. It was Mike.
Yes, sir.
Spenny's the TD from BD. Spenny was in the TD booth. Mike Gentry was in the sound booth. Neil Rule and Darren McCarty. They both gave their top 5 Woodward Sports Network shows.
Yeah,
We were all over
I
the
was
place.
disappointed in a couple. I was a little disappointed. I mean, it just basically, I put it in the chat. I was like, "Hey, it's time for us to step up and just keep getting better every day." It's like motivating, you know. It's like for the Detroit Lions at the beginning of the season when you have about 2 or 3 people in the national media that are like, "Oh, the Detroit Lions, they're going to be good. Like this is a good." And then there's like 75% of the other people who are like, "Yeah, I don't know about that team. They have a lot of potential, but." Yeah, they're still at the bottom of the league. They're not going to make it. That's how I feel like we're the Detroit Lions right now.
Yeah,
we're up and coming.
100%. And Neil is Dan Orlovsky / Lewis Riddick, and Darren McCarty is Mina Kimes. But Mike Gentry and Spenny, they had us pretty low on the list.
Spenny put us in with all the other shows and just put third.
Yeah.
I thought I had a good relationship with Spenny.
That was the best answer by far. That was the best answer.
That was the weakest answer.
I thought Spenny. I'm not gonna lie. When I thought Spenny's list was popping up, I was like, I hope he puts Woodward Nights 3. I thought,
man up and
I've been on heavyweights with him a lot. All right,
but then Gentry right after that, he goes, what was it? Woodward Nights and Final Word are just interchangeable.
Well, he threw Woodward the morning show on that too.
Oh yeah, so I guess
those 3 are just interchangeable. They're all the same.
What are you going to do? Then D-Mac and Neil had our backs.
Yeah, shout out D-Mac too. He did put the stream number 1. The stream was one of the best times of my life. I look forward to if I could do a stream every Sunday for the rest of my life, I would do it. It's so fun. It's one of the best times ever.
How about this? Lorena Rios, B&B up and coming. B&B greater than E&E, says Andrew Jones. George Eagle, Broder, and Bruder against everybody.
I like that. Maybe we should make a shirt.
We should. Well,
I want it. I want it.
Gotta get approved by the Final Word.
Yeah, we do. Anyway, shout out to Neil though. Neil put us third, and Neil had a lot of good things to say about us. I love BD. I watch BD all the time. We do. I do want to throw it out there. We have been doing top 5 Thursdays for a few weeks now.
That's true.
So I didn't want to. I just wanted to make it very known to where when we do our top 5 Thursdays, I don't want people to think, hey, Booner and Broder are taking that from BDE. We have been doing that for about a month now.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about. They don't even believe in the list. They did it to get back at the morning show. They think lists are easy or soft or whatever. I think they're fun.
Lorena said, Booner, Neil denied you as his son. I am not his son, but I am his stepchild.
That's fair.
I think that's more fair.
Yeah.
Stepchild.
The one who stays home at the ball?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
That's me. Next thing we have here, I don't know if you saw it. I don't have a graphic for it or anything, but Justin Jefferson, the little NFC North news.
Oh.
Justin Jefferson is back off the IR. He has been activated. I did see something here, so I guess it doesn't really matter for us because we don't play them this week. So he's going to be available for when the Lions do, week 16, 18 most likely. But that he will not play this week, I'm pretty sure.
That's fine.
But the biggest stat that really threw me off, Minnesota Vikings, they were 4-0 without Justin Jefferson.
That's wild. I didn't realize that.
Me either.
That's wild.
4-0.
Is that the effect of you have a star player, you forcing in the ball, or your offense is so different with him out there versus Jordan Addison has been balling. They've gotten it done in different ways while he's been out. I don't know what goes into that. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Just to see when they come back, and if something like that, does that affect his contract negotiations with Minnesota? Because he's wanting a bag.
This is his last year.
His next contract, he'll be the highest paid receiver in the league. Is it going to come from Minnesota though? Remember, they traded Stephon Diggs right before he was going to get paid for what turned out to be Justin Jefferson.
This year they drafted Jordan Addison, and then they won 4 straight with no Justin Jefferson. Yeah, that is interesting actually to think. The NFC North is so weird to me right now. I don't know what to think about everything going on in the NFC North.
Just
outside of the Lions.
The Lions just need to keep their head down. Keep moving forward. Don't look back, and just extend the lead as far as you can.
Dude, that's
Girth.
I'm gonna say though, that's what's worried me is 4 weeks ago when Justin Jefferson did go down, we talked about it. We had the conversation when we did a topic on the NFC North, and do you remember what I said, Broder? I was like, all right, they're 1 game, 2 games behind right now, or a game and a half, I think, behind. And look at their schedule. And their schedule was like the Falcons. I'll pull it up here real quick. But their schedule was like the Falcons, the Bears, the Packers, and the 49ers. And basically what I was saying was they play the Bears, Packers, and Falcons. They're going to stay next to the Detroit Lions. So they have a similar schedule to us where we don't have the best schedule. They have something a little bit similar, except they're playing a couple better teams. If they're just right there, that does make me nervous because you played them 2 of the last 3 weeks. And I have confidence in this Detroit Lions team. That's just a fact, though, to where if they stick around, that's gonna make it to where you can't sit guys out week 18. Like you can't week 7. Like you have to make sure you're winning these games.
Everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think
I don't know who that sound is.
I think that's Rick and Morty
that's
right
Rick
there.
And Morty, that's Rick.
But with
Rick.
with JJ coming back, I think it does kind of impact it when they have to force feed him with like when Kirk Cousins was healthy. But I think the Vikings are going to fall back down to earth a little bit. This 4-0 run is not legit in my eyes. I'm not too worried about the Vikings going forward, and I do believe the Lions are going to take care of business, and it starts this Sunday against the Chargers.
If they sneak in, like I wouldn't mind the Vikings in the first round if they get the 7th seed, come to Ford Field, and again, this is before we see them play. Who knows? They could have a coming to life later on this year. We don't know. I don't think it's going to happen though. So
yeah, I don't.
What you going to do?
Did you see? Just flipping the page a little bit here.
Flip it.
Did you see that? I know I texted you and I was like, "Hey, did you want to do anything about this Michigan thing?" And nothing really came out. But after I texted you about an hour later, something else came out.
Yeah, all hell keeps breaking loose.
So the Michigan legislators, or it looks like lawmakers, so like some people in Lansing,
Like 11 of them.
11 of them. This is one of the more wild things in my opinion. Basically, the Michigan government said, hey, we're going to stick up for the University of Michigan. And 11 of these people went out there, wrote a letter to the Big Ten and the commissioner and said, hey, listen, if you do put any sort of suspension or anything on this Michigan program before you do a fair trial, we're going to make sure that we have their back and we're going to step in. So things are like that's muscle. And I think that's part of what Santa Ono kind of was like, hey, listen, if you guys do something to us, 1, we have a lot of evidence of different things, and 2, we're going to make sure we're fully prepared. And I don't know, they got like some lawyers that are like some of the best in the world.
Oh yeah, that's the power. That's the Michigan, the president, the regents, everyone's standing up. That's what he talked about the other day. The army behind Santa Ono, just behind this letter, is way bigger than people maybe think. Not just money, but power, all over the world, and especially all over the United States. It's one of those things, man. A rookie commissioner to the Big Ten, a rookie leader there. He's got a tough 48, 72 hours ahead of him. He's got a tough route to make some of these decisions. What's he going to do? And now he looks in the mirror, but he looks at this and he just sees an entire state. He sees all this power coming against him.
So they went and hired Williams and Conley. I don't know, it's like some attorneys. But
Mike Conley.
So from what I heard is like these are the people who I think represented Bill Clinton. I could be wrong. They represented a president when he got impeached, and they kind of flipped it, and they ended up helping. I don't know. That was kind of some text messages that I got that I kind of heard, but they're like serious about this. They went and got the best lawyers in the country. They have the government behind them. That makes me, you know what, like you said yesterday, brother, that makes me think that they know that they did nothing, that Jim did nothing wrong. Because like Santa Ono's not going to sit here and go through all of these hoops and stuff if he knew, like, yeah, he did it. Because if he did do that, he would be like, all right, we have to suspend you on our own. Like, if there was all of this evidence that you actually guys did this and you knew about it, like, I apologize, Jim Harbaugh, but it's clear and cut. You're suspended.
Yeah, and they're not going to wait for a decision to be made by a new commissioner of the Big Ten and then respond to that. They're being aggressive. They're putting their foot forward first. Forward first.
And this is a school that the first 3 games of the season, they went ahead in front of the NCAA because the NCAA was investigating Michigan for something else, and they said, you know what, let's just suspend Jim Harbaugh now. So, you know, if they're going to do this investigation, let's just do it. So if there was something wrong, they've already shown that they'll do something to Jim Harbaugh, and if they're not doing it now, I just don't see there being like a, I don't know.
They got his back. It seems like the rest of the world, ESPN, everybody seems to be against Michigan. And Paul Feinbaum likes to talk about the school, the University of Michigan, not the football program, not Jim Harbaugh. It's like they're attacking Michigan, and Michigan's they're bringing the infantry, and they're attacking right back. They're not gonna wait around. They're gonna put the pressure.
And there are some people, before we go to break here, real quick. There are some people on national media, Stephen A. Smith, who are going, and we're going to talk in a good sense about Stephen A. later. Actually, we have some clips from him in regards to the Detroit Lions, but him saying that the University of Michigan should not be able to play the rest of the season is just absurd. And Paul Cinnabon,
I like that.
Whatever his name is,
he's soft.
He's out there saying he needs to be suspended indefinitely. There is a narrative they're trying to write. It is very clear, and the reason I know there's a narrative is because there's been reports that came out that Purdue, Ohio State, and Rutgers shared signs. I have not seen that once, or Stephen A. or this Paul guy. I've not seen any of these guys mention that once, and I've watched every single show throughout the morning while I'm at work. I'm watching it. I have not heard. They did not mention it once.
No,
that's just there's something about that. All right, when we come back, we're going to dive in here to a little bit more to this practice, the practice report, injury report. We're going to talk. I have a couple clips from the Dan Campbell press conference today. I want to share with you guys, and we can kind of talk about that. But first, come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams to.
Just go ahead.
No, it was Broder first. Hey, let's go. Keep it going. And all
just
expenses
go
paid
on.
sweet for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That is right. No expenses spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Now let's go.
See, what a great ending. But what happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and you offer more practice to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. They got the same great service that customers have come to know and trust. They're located on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Also, their flagship location is in Dearborn. So find the brand you want at lesstanford.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like a landscape like a How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live the next Sunday home game at Eastern Market Shed number 5. The tailgate will be starting at 9:30 before the game at 1. Official Lions tailgate. It's back. It's better than ever. Come pregame with your friends from Woodward Sports Network. We got food. We got drinks. We got all the entertainment you could ask for. You just got to get your tickets at bullseyeeventgroup.com. We'll see you there.
All right, we are back. It is the one, the only Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports channel, woodwardsports.com. Whatever you guys are watching on, make sure you guys hit that like button for us. Let's get over 50 here before the next segment. Let's get the likes up today. Let's get over 100, well over 100 today.
That'd be fantastic.
That would be amazing.
That'd be smashing.
Smash the like button. That's smashing. A smash burger. Did have a burger for dinner. Shout out Chris. But
nothing, bro.
And if you guys can share the stream with someone, tell someone about the show. We're gonna get into here real quick, Broder. We're gonna get into some Lions talk a little bit. The injury report came out. We just showed it to you guys a little bit ago. The biggest things to me, obviously, we've had these conversations the last 2 days in regards to Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, David Montgomery. Those guys were a full go.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell spoke with the media today, and though that actually, the offensive line was most of the questions in the media. And I think that's because that's been the biggest injury riddled unit on this team outside of the secondary. And that's like your 1A, that group there.
That is your offensive line's your identity. It's your best positional unit.
Yes.
It's everything. So to have them all healthy, and again, Halapula Vaitai might not be starting. Graham Glasgow is likely going to be that right guard starter. But he and Vaitai are interchangeable.
And especially that Ravens game, I don't want to sit here and say it's it was offensive line, but we do know that Jared Goff was under pressure the whole time. Run game never got going. That is what happens. You did have the number one offensive line in the NFL, even with guys injured. But when you have so many guys injured and rotating in and out and in and out, eventually there's going to be one of those Ravens games like that when you go up against a Super Bowl caliber team and those edge rushers and the linebackers they have, and you're going to have that. And if you think about it too, next segment we're going to talk a little bit about this Chargers team. They have some dudes.
Yeah.
They're second in the NFL right now in sacks.
You could argue the Baltimore Ravens defense as a whole is better, but that doesn't mean the Chargers don't have some dudes.
And they literally,
they might have the better top 3 players. They might be better.
Yeah,
maybe.
No matter what, however your good or bad your defense is, if you're second in the NFL in sacks halfway through the year, you have a great defense. That defense has guys. So to have your offensive line that was already the number one in the NFL, have everyone come back, Frank Ragnow back, Jonah Jackson back, it's going to be huge. I want to play a couple clips here about the offensive line and Broder. I'll do the first one and then we can react to it, but then I have a question before the second one that I want to ask you personally. But here's Dan Campbell a little bit talking about Frank Ragnow and Jonah Jackson, how they're back and kind of what it means to this Detroit Lions team.
Yeah, those obviously both of them were at practice yesterday, full day of work, and they both look pretty good too. So barring no setbacks, I think it's looking pretty good.
And there was Dan Campbell talking about Jonah Jackson and Frank, and basically we touched on it a little bit in the last segment, Broder. But yesterday at practice, he kind of confirmed that they were padded up, they were a full go, and it wasn't just that they were a full go. They looked good out there, and like he said at the end, barring any major setbacks, those guys are ready to go for Sunday, and yesterday they looked great, and they are ready to roll the rest of the week.
Yeah, this just is the value of the bye week coming at this very time with these very injuries that they had was huge. Having those guys back are everything. I talked about the identity, especially Jonah Jackson. Frank Ragnow is the more important offensive lineman, as good as Jonah Jackson is, but Jonah Jackson in that run game is as important as any of the other offensive linemen. And that's with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs back. We're going to talk about these weapons and the first time really this offense is healthy. Having that run game established from the start, again, is as important as anything. That is the Lions' identity, that offensive line. So if they can get that rolling, it's going to be a good game out in LA.
Yeah, and the other thing I had here with this, Broder, is this Graham Glasgow thing. This is the one that, to me, it's all right. Now we're starting to figure out. Graham Glasgow was one of the highest rated guards per PFF in the NFL when he was playing the guard position. Then he went to center and he was one of the best there. He went to the other side, left guard.
I think he started at both guards. I think he started at both guards. He's definitely played both, and then he started at center too.
And everywhere he's been one of the best in the, not just on the team but in the NFL. Per
Huge
PFF
signing. You guys remember that when Brad Holmes slander is happening? Remember that Graham Glasgow, a really underrated offensive lineman signing, and got him for the exact scenario that has played out so far this year. And offensive line, they need someone who can fill in at multiple positions, and they can just keep rolling.
And the biggest thing with this is, and it's crazy to say, but Big V is he's back healthy. It seems like he obviously was limited today, but when he comes back fully, Dan Campbell had the question today, and we could play this real quick before you answer, Broder, but Dan Campbell, someone asked him in the media room, hey, when Big V's fully healthy, like, are you going to take Graham Glasgow out for how good he's been playing? And this is kind of Dan Campbell's response on that. It's kind of interesting, but here it is.
As you're getting healthier, has he earned the right to be your starter at right guard?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. We're always assessing Big V, and V's still working at it, but Graham's, certainly Graham has been productive for us, and he's been productive in 3 different spots. I mean, left guard, center, and then certainly right guard before that. So he's been a big asset for us. I mean, he that was a good signing for us to get, and fortunate to have him. So he's a steady, reliable piece for us.
Dude, you can hear his voice change when talking about both those guys.
Yeah,
it gets you thinking about Big V. I have to disclaim this. This could again be a little bit of gamesmanship on top of honesty that Graham Glasgow has earned that spot. He's performed. If he's healthy, why not have him play? But it doesn't sound like Big V's recovering. It was a ankle or thigh. I mean, he's had back issues. That was his big injury last year, but I don't know. His voice didn't sound so confident in Big V. It didn't sound very excited or that, oh, yep, he's going to be healthy for us down the stretch. Like, I didn't sense that confidence that you usually get from Dan Campbell. Even if he doesn't say anything about a player, usually can sense maybe what he's holding back or not. I don't know. It was kind of quiet.
That's right. I kind of had that feeling. And I think it's hard to move off of a guy like Graham Glasgow when he's probably been outside of Penei Sewell and obviously Frank. Like, he's been one of those guys that's been consistent. You've had so many guys get injured, and I almost said Frank Ragnow, but Graham Glasgow has, he's kept that offensive line what they are. Yes. And he has done that, and he's proven, hey, I can play at this high level still. This is still me, and I can still do that. And if Big V, it's like, if you already have a guy that's, playing consistently, and he's in a rhythm with these guys, and he's been doing it for week after week after week after week, it's like, why do you want, what happens if you put Big V in there, and he's coming off an injury, and then just messes it up, and it messes the rhythm up. And it kind of reminds me, too, and we have a segment on it later, is the bye week in the playoffs, where Braylon put that question out there, and a little teaser here for a little bit later, but he put the question out to where, would you rather have the 1 seed and have a bye, or have the 2 seed to where you can keep the momentum going and not have that bye and stay at home while other teams have momentum? And I think that's the kind of similar thing with Graham Glasgow here. It's like, you don't want to mess that up. Yeah. They've been playing great with him. Big V, it's like, at the end of the day, do you remember the conversations we had preseason, Broder? The biggest conversation was this offensive line depth. You have depth now. Yeah, 100%. You have dudes. And
now you have experience out of Yodi and out of Colby Sorsdale. Yes. Even if they're not going to be your starters, even if 5 or 6 of the starters are healthy, Big V and Graham Glasgow, if they're healthy, you still trust that Colby Sorsdale or Yodi, Dan Skipper, these guys can come and fill in if needed. So it just makes it a little bit easier for Hank Fraley, knowing he's got that insurance behind in case anyone does get hurt. Because as we're seeing, this is one of the best offensive lines in the league, but they get hurt. It's a violent physical position, especially when you start talking about going against guys like Max Crosby, like Nick Bosa, like Khalil Mack, these guys, Thule out of USC.
And right here, George Eagle in the Woodward Sports chat. He said, how often does a player leave Detroit, come back, and produce? We are in new waters. That is kind of a great point to where you're able to bring guys back here who might have not had success, or maybe had success, and they're like, hey, we have to go somewhere else because in our career we want to win. And it's like Sue. Obviously we were winning, but it was like, all right, we're not going to pay him. And he went somewhere else. But imagine if he would have came back right now and had success. But Graham Glasgow is a perfect example of that, and he has been I just think he's been elite, brother. Yeah. Last thing I do want to hear with the Dan Campbell press conference. I know we have a couple minutes. This is perfect for our show because every single week I feel like, brother, we'll do it on Thursday or Friday, but our keys to victory. And every week I always say turnover battle, and it seems like, and today that was asked at the press conference. And Dan Campbell basically said, hey, he was like, hey, that's one of the keys to us winning this game. Yeah. Is a turnover battle. So here's Dan Campbell talking about the turnover battle. Me and Dan Campbell, we might be twins.
I mean, for the most part, when we've had these turnovers, we've been able to overcome them. I mean, we're sitting here at a zero margin right now, which isn't good enough. We got to be better than that. But it will be everything, because this team has proven that when they get these takeaways, they're very dangerous. Because they have a potent offense, and they have a defense that's able to. They're creating them, right? So it's going to be very important, particularly on the road. So we got to take care of the football, but not at the expense of being uptight and, we still got to play our game, so, but there again, it's particularly ball security. There's things that you're not always going to be able to control. They're the nature of the game, and those happen. But man, the ones that we know we can, the way you carry the football, right? Just golf, talking about the throws, when to throw it, when to not, and how just those little things are important. But we don't ever want to take away our aggressiveness in the way that we attack either.
Win the turnover battle.
I feel like sometimes I'm like, Booner, you say it too much, but that is one of the biggest keys in the NFL. Is if you could go win a turnover battle in the NFL, you're gonna win the game. And that was almost. I'm gonna give myself homework this next week or two. I know I give myself 2 weeks for homework, but I hate doing homework.
Fine. You work 20 hours a day.
Yes. So that's fair then. So I'm going to give myself homework though. I'm going to go in and I'm going to go look the records of teams that have won the turnover battle this season and what that record is, because I can almost guarantee you it's probably like 70% or more.
Gotta be.
It has to be. And the fact, remember a couple weeks ago we were talking about how the Lions turnover differential was like -6 at one point this year. It's 0 now. And Dan Campbell knows how important it is in this league to go get turnovers, take care of the ball. And like you said, there's some you can't fix, and you can't, it just happens. But the ones you can control, and then if you can control to take a couple away, you have to do it.
Yeah, that turnover, Booner, you were the one Dan Campbell heard. Cattle.
Shout out, and one day we're gonna have a beer together. Can't wait for that day. All right,
Blue Mountains,
Blue Mountain State. All right, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, Lions versus Chargers. The question I posed to us, Broder, is who is the most important player on offense and the defensive side of the ball? Can't
wait to hear the 6 players you picked.
I picked 2. I narrowed it down to 2. Second one's going to surprise you a little bit. I'm going to go quick double ad, though, here real quick. I'm going to tell you guys about the Woodward Sports Lions pregame show. That is with the one, the only Hollywood, Jeff Freddie. Don't want to miss out on that. I will be on the desk with him this Sunday in regards to that. Right before the game, we will have that show hosted by the one, the only Jeff Freddie with weekly special guests. We're going to break down all of the injuries, everything like that. Broder probably will send us some insider information that he'll have.
Maybe.
Wink, wink. Hopefully he does.
Possibly.
But that is on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check that out. And then make sure you guys head over to Big Boy. This winter time in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Try the veal parmigiano, the new Southern Comfort Bowl. How about some breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back in the classic lumberjack or Santa Fe garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. That sounds really good. I'm not going to lie. The apple pie hotcakes. Wow. And you could top it all off with the new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today for all of that. That's Big Boy.
Big Boy.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
5 Iron Golf is downtown's newest sports bar. They got 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and most importantly, a full bar and restaurant. You have a chance to compete nationwide for a trip to the Dominican Republic. You just got to bring a foursome or sign up as an individual to be placed on a team. Do so at 5irongolf.com.
5 Iron. All right, welcome back to the Woodward Sports channel. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. I see Mike Hilton in there, Shane D, Uncle Neil Softfeet, shout out. Uncle Neil, Diana, Jason Elder, Steve Wilds, Lorena.
Phil's in there.
Phil,
Shout out Mike.
Freddie, there's a lot of people in there. U of M Dad, I can't name everyone, but there's a lot of people in there. Appreciate you guys all. Make sure you guys...
Ornery U of M Dad.
Ornery, yeah.
That's my guy. Not my dad, but
I never know
my
how
guy.
to read the beginning of it because there's like letters and numbers in it. So
Ornery. I think it's ornery. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, I think it is. But hey, hit that like button. Let's get over 75 by 9 o'clock here. Let's hit that goal there and share the show to a friend here if you guys can real quick. But Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Chargers, brother. You're freaking me out with that ball. I feel like you're gonna throw a fastball to my face.
I might.
I'll catch it. Oh, look at that. Ready?
Yep.
We're
Look
cooking,
at that.
boys.
We're cooking with grease, with butter. Oh, right through the glass. That would be crazy.
That would be funny. That
That's
would
some
hurt.
Harry Potter stuff. It just goes right through the glass.
Been waiting to see Phil.
Yeah.
He's been asking for it for weeks.
What the
Just to bring my glove in.
I love it. Do you have an extra glove?
I do.
I'm a lefty.
I got one in my trunk.
All right, cool.
Always travel with it. Actually,
Well,
No
let's
way
I never
you're a
had it with
lefty.
me.
I'm a lefty, yeah.
We got dual lefties
So the thing
on
is,
the
I didn't even
desk.
realize
I'm
that.
ambidextrous. I write with my left hand. I throw a baseball with my left hand, but like I golf right-handed. I shoot a basketball all through high school. I've shot right-handed. I switched when I was in middle school. I do some things right-handed. So just whatever feels more comfortable.
Okay.
So I don't know why it is that way. It has been my whole life, but I am a lefty, a southpaw just like you.
That's actually pretty awesome.
It's a southpaw show.
Yeah,
It
let's
is,
go.
except for me.
You're not?
No, I'm not. My brother is, though. My brother's
right.
left-handed, though.
That's fair.
I'm not lefty. No, I shoot pool lefty. That's about it.
Oh.
Okay. That's like the weirdest thing. Like I do everything right-handed but pool.
Yeah. You don't want to play me. Catch me
Only thing
at Midtown. Back to football.
The only thing I don't use my right hand for is billiards. Like, what? That's so wild.
I love pool.
I do too. Yeah, I used to have my own pool stick. All right, let's get back on track here. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have a little
No one
problem.
apologize for having fun. They're getting to know us. You guys are
Question
getting to
here.
know our goofiness.
They are. A question here
Speed
though that I
dating.
had. The most important and kind of it's most important. Who do you think will at the same time have a big game for the Detroit Lions versus the Chargers? And I wanted to kind of put both of them together because obviously the most important, we want to see them do well.
Yes.
So we're going to do offense and defense. Broder, I'll let you go first on offense. You already know who my guy is, so I'll let you go, and then I'll hit you with mine after. So who is the most important offensive player for the Detroit Lions versus the Chargers?
Yeah, so we just talked about Jonah Jackson coming back, Frank Ragnow coming back, David Montgomery coming back. This offense is getting healthier, which is why I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the most important guy in offense this game. I think he's gotten his exposure. He's gotten his time out on the field, his snaps. He's been catching the ball. He's been running the ball. He's been running between the tackles, running the outside. A lot does fall on Ben Johnson making this all work, but I think they now have all the ingredients to make this meal, to make this offense really run. How he's going to do it with David Montgomery, with Jameson Williams, with DPJ, working that all with, again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who was maybe my 1B if you were going to pick that as my backup plan. Jahmyr Gibbs is now a guy, especially against a defense with crazy pass rushers and kind of a weaker linebacker core, a weaker secondary, even though they do have some players. Derwin James hasn't been playing very well. Jahmyr Gibbs, I think this is a time where he can do some things out of the backfield and really make a difference on this final score.
Yeah, I like that one.
Thank you.
I like that a lot because I do think it's going to be interesting to see him coming back with David Montgomery, how that kind of works. And I think it is important for Ben Johnson to get Jahmyr Gibbs 20 touches again.
20 touches.
Find a way. I think you can get him 20 touches and still find a way to get David Montgomery 15-ish.
You don't think it should be reversed?
I just think like
you are saying touches, so
I'm saying touches because I'm saying like 10 carries or like 12 to 13 carries and maybe 6 to 7 catches out of the backfield or slot. And then with David Montgomery, it's make sure he's getting 15 to 20 carries within the game. And I know that sounds like a lot. I guess I would have to do more research to see like how teams could split it up. What's the average for two backs that are that like going 50-50 or 45-55, like however that is. But that's I'm with you on that. And I think with Jahmyr Gibbs, if you get him, let's just say 17 touches.
Yeah.
It's important for him to make something out of those because he the last 2 weeks has been that guy on offense.
Yeah, and if he's involved in the offense, that just leaves so much more open for the other players. Like we talked about, Jameson Williams as a receiver opens up the middle of the field, opens up space for other receivers. Jahmyr Gibbs does the same thing.
And I want to say this before I do mine here. Andrew Jones in the Woodward Sports chat, he said it's going to be their defensive line versus our offensive line. I think that's like we talked about it yesterday. That's like the number one thing I believe. Me and you talked about it in the back there. We both kind of stayed away from that within this segment. It kind of went more so skill players. Just because we've already had a segment on that, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow and Friday a lot. Our offensive line versus their defensive line, and vice versa, because that will be a huge part. But
Booner, who is your most important offensive player for the Lions?
I am going to go. Wow, Giannis only has 4 points. I am going to
like
go.
Some Adderall?
Lock in.
Broder.
No.
Jared Goff.
Yes.
I'm going Jared Goff.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I feel like it's like the easy way out, the easy answer.
No, but you had a good explanation. Like, on the surface, the quarterback is the most important. But you were explaining it was interesting to me.
There's a couple things. Like, one, this is the first road game that he's had since that Ravens game. And a lot of people and a lot of pushback on Jared Goff the last few years has been these road games, and specifically outdoors, so this is indoor. But it's still like this is a road game to where he struggled in the last one in a pressure environment. And we all knew that. Everyone noticed it.
Great point.
I wanted to do David Montgomery as well, and because I told you this, Broder, the way I set it up was David Montgomery is going to set the pace and everything right away within this game. Like that, whatever he does to set that run, to open up this play action for Jared Goff, that is the most important thing to me in this game, I think, is that play action with Jared Goff. If Jared Goff can get that going, and he's playing at an elite level like he was in the past before the Ravens game, I think this game is untouchable. I think the Lions can go out there and win by a couple of scores.
Hell yeah.
I truly do. And I know that this Chargers team's good, but if this offense, like think about this, Broder. I was just thinking about it over here.
Oh, over there.
The Detroit Lions right now have what? Number 6 offense in the NFL, number 7, top 7. They just got every single player back on that offense. They are not missing one player on this offense anymore. Not one. And they were top 7 before. This is legit going to be a top 5, top 4 offense, and they're not going to be able to. No one's going to be able to touch them. And especially in the NFC, when you look at the NFC, I think it all starts with Jared Goff on Sunday.
Yeah,
it starts with him. So that's my offense. Who's your defensive guy
for the Lions?
Yes,
for the Lions, my defensive.
I hope you don't take mine.
I've brought this name up a lot, and I actually think it's most important now with this game. Cam Sutton. I think Keenan Allen. And here, to tease, I'm not even going to tease. My most important Chargers offensive player is Keenan Allen. So that's sort of where I got that. We need Cam Sutton to be the lockdown corner that he's shown. I know a lot of people have talked about Devontae Adams beating him on a couple routes last week. Jimmy G just missed him. That's partially true. They were blitzing a lot, and Cam Sutton is allowed to cheat, knowing there's some deficiency under center. But nonetheless, Cam Sutton needs to lock down Keenan Allen. I think if you shut down Keenan Allen or prevent him from going off, I think that takes such a huge element out of the Chargers offense. It's that Amon-Ra St. Brown type reliability, that type of wide receiver that Justin Herbert relies on. Yes, you still need to go stop Austin Eckler, and they have some other weapons, Quentin Johnson, although he's playing pretty soft. They got other weapons, but to me, Keenan Allen needs to be shut down, so cornerback Cam Sutton is the most important.
Okay.
What about you?
I went secondary as well.
Okay.
I went a little different direction in this. There was a guy that started the year off as one of the best defenders on this team and then got injured. And since he's been back, he has been, you could feel him back on the field, but you haven't felt him like you did versus the Falcons, versus the Packers, kind of versus that Chiefs game. You haven't really, that guy hasn't stood out yet. Most important player to me this week on defense, Brian Branch.
Yup.
Brian Branch.
Tell him, Booner.
I want to see him get to where he was before this injury. I want to see him everywhere on the field. It's the thing with Brian Branch in this nickel spot is he is able to fly around the field. He will be attacking the quarterback. He will at some point be up against Austin Eckler. And I'm sure at some point, Broder, you're going to see him having to sit there and make a tackle on Keenan Allen. That man will be everywhere on the field. I'm convinced when you see Brian Branch have a big game, the Detroit Lions defense has a big game. And that's what I want to see out of Brian Branch, because that Ravens game, didn't really see him much. And it was his first game off injury, and you could tell a little bit. I think Brian Branch coming back off of bye week, fully healthy, I do think it's a huge. And I want to see turnover from that. I want to see him go get another pick six. I would love to see that from a guy like Brian Branch.
Please.
Let that man keep going, because he was on that trajectory of defensive rookie of the year before he got hurt. Get right back to that. You got a week off. Think you're healed up. I have so much confidence in him that he can do that. I want to see him get back on track and be all over the field again on Sunday.
Yes. Booner, real quick, because I know we're coming up on break. Just who's your most important Chargers offensive player?
Oh, didn't even think about that.
I thought that's what you were asking. Hey, if you don't have one, no biggie.
I'm going to say Keenan Allen.
Oh, there we go.
I think he has to get in the end zone for the Chargers to have a chance there. The games he doesn't get in the end zone, it seems like the Chargers struggle on offense.
Facts.
Booner, I love that quick Brian Branch one. Another rookie I wanted to point out real quick. After the bye, I know he started off a little bit slow, but I'm going to go with the linebacker, Jack Campbell, going up against Austin Eckler. The second half of the season, we need to see Jack Campbell become that kind of star linebacker next to Anzalone that we think he can be. And if you can make Justin Herbert just lay back and just sling that thing around and make him one-dimensional, I think this defense is going to have a lot of success. And then real quick on offense, Sam Laporta, another rookie. So I'm expecting 2 massive games from the rookies. These DNs are going to be getting after Goff quick. So if Laporta can get quick releases off the line and be that security blanket for Goff, I think we're going to have a lot of success in this game.
I want to throw it out. There's another kind of fight going on with the Pistons here. The Pistons are scrapping.
We got beef stew, so we're good.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
No, I don't think it was beef stew. I think it was Jalen Duren, and I think it was Jake Crowder. And then I believe when they all ran in, I think Cade and Bobby Portis kind of were going at it a little bit. So they're not scared. That's what I love about these young guys. They don't care who it is. Bobby Portis, Jake Crowder, those are 2 tough guys in this league. They'll go head up. What's up, Chris?
So I want to kind of cheat here, and my biggest thing, just because I don't get to get on this show, so I want to say it, because I think it's actually totally opposite of everything we're doing. We're talking about offense or defense. To me, where this game is going to come down to, it's the coaching staff.
Wow.
I think that's the one thing when you look at these rosters that talent-wise you'd say they're pretty equal. But coaching-wise, you would like to think that Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn is an advantage over what the Chargers have.
I like that.
And I think that's going to be a big key. So Dan Campbell is going to have to coach a good game. That means making the right decisions on when to go for it on 4th down, when to punt it, when to go for the field goal. Decisions like that could be what make the difference in this game. And again, Dan Campbell last year was 1-6 at this point and looking like a coach that was very much not elite. Now, I think that narrative has completely flipped the script, and he's looking like one of the better coaches, whereas the LA Chargers coach to be named. I mean, we've all heard the Ben Johnson rumors with him. So I think this is a game where that is the one area you could say comfortably Detroit has an advantage. Quarterback, you can debate. You know, the run defenses are both pretty good. Like they're pretty similar in a lot of areas, but the one where you think Detroit has an outstanding advantage would be coaching, and that needs to be displayed this Sunday.
I love that too, because when we did our midseason during the bye week last week, when we did our midseason grades, we did the offensive coordinators, and neither of them got an A from us. I believe we both
Lions coordinators?
Yeah, I believe we both gave them around a B or B plus, and the reason was there was slip ups on both sides. Like there was games like the Ravens game with the offense, the Ravens game with the defense, the Seahawks game with the defense. There were slip ups a little bit to where we both said it. There's room for those guys to grow in a game like this when you're playing a team that could be is supposed to be a playoff team at least, and you're supposed to be playing like a team on the road. This is where you want to see those guys like Ben Johnson. We keep joking around about it that this might be his interview. I don't even care if it's his interview. I want to see him go out there and coach a hell of a game on offense. That's what I want.
To add on to that, this is against Kellen Moore, who I happen to think is an overrated offensive coordinator, but people put him in that top 2, top 3 category. His name and Ben Johnson's name get mentioned a lot together, but I think I think he's overrated. And I think Ben Johnson's going to go have himself a day.
Let's hit break. That was a great segment, by the way. I know we went a little over. That was a great one. When we come back, Stephen A. Smith had some comments about the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff that we want to touch on. Before you tell us about Dispo, though, I'm going to tell you guys about Woodward in Maine. Woodward in Maine, it is this Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. It is the Woodward Sports Lions Insider Show hosted by Gabrielle D. Phillips, our own Matt Broder, and Detroit legend Terry Foster. All the insider information you need to know early in the morning for game day. Make sure you guys tune in. That's Tuesdays, 7 to 8 a.m. and Sundays, 8 to 9 a.m. on Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Yeah, before or after, head over to Dispo because Dispo Romeo is a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere. They got fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. This Dispo Romeo location is the first ever cannabis mall of its kind, conveniently located off 32 Mile Road in Van Dyke in Romeo. It's now open late too, Monday through Saturday, open till midnight. Check them out on Romeo, Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com. They are your local cannabis plug.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line, featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
Now, how would you like to win $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Syntron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter for your chance to win. Or you can do 2 and double up like me with this read. Register at drinksyntron.com/Vegas and buy Syntron at your local Meijer store. It's Syntron, the healthier energy drink with great taste for the people who desire to look good, feel good, and be the best versions of themselves. Go to drinksyntron.com/Vegas.
Yeah. And welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all locking in with us. Everyone in the chat right now, make sure you guys share the stream a little bit with some people. Let them know that we're on here right now, 8 to 10 every weekday. And hit the like button too. Where are we at right now? 67. 75 by 9. That's the goal there. Let's get that. Pistons right now, a little update. It's a bad game. 42-29, the Bucks.
42. That's the number show. Woodward Nights show 42 is tonight.
Is it really?
Yeah. Jake Robinson. Yeah.
We're almost 2 months in. How many more until 2 months? 18?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've technically been going for 2 months, but with the weekends, and we have some Mondays off, some Thursdays off because the Lions are on prime time now. You know what I'm saying?
We don't get a show on the big days.
Yeah.
We haven't earned that right yet.
Soon.
No, I'm just kidding. We'll get there. Hey, again, we appreciate you guys. Hit the like button. But we're going to tell you guys here a little bit. Stephen A. Smith on First Take today. Outside of the Michigan stuff that I think both me and Broder disagree with, he did have a very, very good thing to say in regards to the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. And it seems like Stephen A. Smith's been back and forth. I thought of this. He's flipping back and forth like a McDonald's hamburger on the grill. Is that a good one?
That was pretty good.
Okay, thank you. I thought of that earlier. I wanted to say it. I was like, I don't know how good that is.
Dude, let it fly. Confidence, baby.
Yes.
You delivered that one.
Thank you. Thank you. One of my goals in life is to do some stand-up comedy. I know know I've always thrown out there I wanted to be an actor, and I've had some people actually reach out to me saying like, hey, what kind of acting you're trying to get into. My goal is to be in a Seth Rogen movie. I just want to have a role in a Seth Rogen movie. Either that or just like
to get you on that casting couch, boo.
Okay, come on.
That's where my head went first too.
No, come on, man.
What? Some people reached out.
Yeah, like, hey, do you want to be in a Seth Rogen movie?
Man.
I was like, yeah, they would love Booner. That's just a fact. But
come in the van.
I would like to do some stand-up too one day. I think I could be good at it. A lot of people say that I remind them of Theo Von a little bit. They call him my older brother. That's just a
little
fact.
bit.
And then I get Shane Gillis all the time. So if I'm a mix of Shane Gillis and Theo Von,
his voice is what makes him unique.
Yeah. If I'm a little Theo Von Shane Gillis mix, listen up.
I'm a Bert Kreischer fan.
I am too. I like Bert. His movie was great too. If you haven't seen it, all right. Stephen A. Smith though, we got way off track again. ADHD is kicking in, going everywhere. He talked about the Detroit Lions and specifically Jared Goff, and I was surprised to hear what he said because weeks ago we showed him on our show and he put the Detroit Lions as the number one team in the NFL, and then they lost to the Ravens, and then on his podcast he sat there and yelled about how big of frauds the Detroit Lions are. Yeah, so I don't know what to do about Stephen A. Smith right now and what to believe. I think he's just one of those guys, and I'm starting to learn him of being in the industry a little bit, to where he just is a clickbait guy that's gonna throw it. He'll have a different take about the same thing within the days and like today and tomorrow.
No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth.
And he basically was talking about who's the best quarterback in the NFC. And Chris, are you ready here with it? Mm-hmm. This is what he had to say here about Jared Goff possibly being the best quarterback in the NFC.
Looking at Jared Goff, 12 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 2,174 yards passing, which is more than Dak, completing 68% of his passes. They're in first place in the NFC North. They're 6-2. Got the best record in the
now you can hear us.
Record in the NFC. And then we also have to take into account, statistically speaking, every game this season, with the exception of the opener, which he completed nearly about 63% of his passes.
Let us know.
This is Jared Goff. 80%, 66, 67, 71, 68, 62, 70% of his passes. One game where they wet the bed, they got blown out by Baltimore.
Yep.
Every other game, even the game that they lost to Seattle, the second game of the season, they lost in overtime, 37-31.
Yep.
You look at Jared Goff, for the most part, take out the Baltimore game, he's been a model of consistency. They've been winning
Jared
football games. And I don't think that we can ignore that. He's been better than Dak Prescott. As far as I'm concerned, as a quarterback, he's been better than Jalen Hurts. That's not to say he is better, but I'm talking about he's performed better thus far this year. We all believe primarily it's because of the health of Jalen Hurts. He's been compromised. He's been a bit gimpy. He can't scramble the way that he normally could. Can't extend plays the way he normally could. We get it that it's health more so than ability. But in the end, Jared Goff has been the best quarterback in the NFC.
That's right.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Stephen A. Smith from the top rope. He came out on First Take today and came out and said, hey, listen, Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the NFC right now. No ifs, ands, no or buts, nothing. Don't care what anyone has to say. Brandon Katz, don't care. I don't know why I said that with the Boston accent, but that's what Stephen A. is at. And at the end of the day, Broder, and we're going to dig into this a little bit because Jared Goff is your guy. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is wrong. I have been on that side here to where we talk about the MVP race. I have not thought that anyone stood out to me to be like, that's the clear MVP, including Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
The only player to me that's really stood out, and you could say he's number one, to me has been Patrick Mahomes. And then he's in the him and Lamar Jackson, they're in the AFC.
That's my guy.
Jalen Hurts to me has not been like way out there. He's put some stats up, but Jared Goff sitting at 6-2 outside, just like Stephen A. said, take away that Ravens game. Jared Goff has been great.
Yeah,
and there's nothing anyone can say about that.
Yeah, it was the way he said it. I really liked. It was like no one's arguing Jalen Hurts is a more talented quarterback. I think he used the term, but Jared Goff has performed better this season. Like and it's true. And I still have Jalen Hurts ranked ahead of Jared Goff in the MVP race, a little midseason awards. But what Stephen A. said was Facts. It was facts. Jared Goff throughout the season, despite a couple hiccups there, has been a model of consistency. He's been efficient. He's been accurate. He's been able to get the ball into these receivers' hands. And even Amon-Ra St. Brown, there's been a decent amount of drops this season. Not just Jamison Williams. Sam Laporta had a game or two where he had a couple drops. So it's not like the team has performed perfectly, but Jared Goff has continued to deliver, literally deliver the ball where his receivers need it. And I think he's getting better. I talked all offseason about the comfort level having Ben Johnson and Mark Brunell having the same OC and QB coach in back-to-back years. This is the first time in his career he's had that. You can see the comfortability he's getting, the pre-snap reads, his decision-making. Except for that Ravens game, he seems so calm. He seems so in control of the game. Like the game seems slow to him.
This is the thing too with me. I keep going back here with this Lions team. When we talk about Goff, when we talk about anyone on this team, you know what I keep going back to, Broder, is what does this do for this Lions team to contend? What does this do for that? Because if you have a guy like Stephen A. who's coming out saying that's the best quarterback in the NFC, that means other people believe that. That means it's true. Like I don't want to say anything that comes out of his mouth is true, but what I'm saying is Stephen A. is one of the best in the industry. So if he's talking about that, there's a conversation to do with it, whether it's right or wrong. But when you really break it down, Broder, when you're going to contend, what is the number one piece that you need if you're going to look to go for a Super Bowl or an NFC championship? The biggest piece is always the quarterback. Do you have one of those high-level quarterbacks like a Dak, like a Jalen Hurts, like a Patrick Mahomes, a Joe Burrow, that's going to be able to lead your team? That right there showed me that the Detroit Lions have that guy to be able to do that this year. And I know there's a lot of hate, people around the network even who are like, can Jared Goff do this? Can he not? I think it's like, okay, he can do it. We know he can. And it's just about like having that confidence and being able to look yourself in the mirror and being like, you know what? He actually is probably the best quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
And if you have the best quarterback in the NFC right now, and you have that defense that's been playing a top 5 rush defense, and you have your offense that's a top 5 offense in the NFC, you're going to be in contention at the end of the year. And when you're a GM or a coach or a fan, that's all you're asking for, is to be in that spot come January, the end of January, to have a chance to go to the Super Bowl. I think that's what we have right now in Jared Goff.
100%. And I think he's perfect for this offense and for this team. I don't know if Jared Goff would be the best quarterback on the Chiefs right now with the lack of weapons. And that team relies on, let me find, it was Tyler Chauvet said, relies on Mahomes being a force multiplier, bringing out absurd things out of some of these players. Rasheed Rice, I can't say Kadarius Toney, but these players, they're not Amon-Ra St. Brown, they're not Travis Kelce is Sam Laporta. You know what I'm saying. Jared Goff maybe isn't that quarterback, but for this team, the offense that Ben Johnson wants to run behind the number one offensive line, Jared Goff and what he does, being efficient and being accurate, is perfect.
And before we go to break, I want to look at this comment here in the Woodward Sports chat. Terrell from FL, shout out, has called in a lot, morning show caller.
Shout out.
Terrell's awesome, but he said Goff actually has decent feet. He's just not fast. I think that's kind of true. Goff, if you've noticed, like outside of him having to move, like really run and get out in space away from someone, he's moved in the pocket pretty well, and he's got out of a lot of scenarios in the pocket this year. Now there has been times, yes, he's gotten caught up in the pocket because it's collapsed and it's out. Only people that in the league probably can get out of it is like a Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson. But for a guy like Jared Goff, he's been good this year in the pocket, getting out, moving up when he needs to, stepping out. He's been decent doing that. So I'm confident. I'm starting to build that confidence in Jared Goff. I'm not going to lie. I said it last week. I think right now you just re-sign him, get that extension over with for the next 2 years, and just move on. So, all right, let's go to break.
Send it!
When we do come back, though,
Braylon,
our own Braylon Edwards tweeted out something, a really good question actually, in regards to competing in the NFC playoffs. So we'll go over that when we come back. But Hamlin Pub, have you ever wanted a pub or a bar where you are a regular? We have just a place for you. Head over to one of Hamlin Pub's 7 locations and experience where everyone is a regular. Whether you're enjoying a half-off pizza on a Thursday or game day specials available during all Michigan sports and NFL games, Hamlin Pub is the place. Do not want to miss out. Visit a location today and experience your new favorite pub for all things sports.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
You have football on the brain? Well, fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year is already awesome. It's also the perfect time to shop for your home and auto insurance. So shop it like a pro at Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. So ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Terrell FL, check this out. Check this little video. This is from practice. There. Here we go, Goff. Just do a little agility work. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Look at that. I had it on my computer. I hadn't sent it in to you guys. It's it's not the most exciting drill, but you're just talking about his feet, and it's true. They do this every practice, and he's quick, and you can see it in the pocket. So we back.
We are back, baby. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate every one of you guys tuning in. Great video, by the way, of Jared Goff. I love seeing that, especially after we just said that. Terrell said that. Yes. I love that fact there. Real quick, what is this?
I don't know, but it looks like good company.
Looks Court Visionaries. Kate Cunningham, Luka Doncic. Is that how you say that word?
It is now.
How do you say it?
Visionaries?
Visionaries. Okay. Yeah,
Vision is scary. Start a revolution, polluting the airways and rebel.
Real quick, Chris, can you throw up? I put Killian Hayes bet in there. I'm sorry, we're gonna get off topic real quick. I did a joke here and put it up on Twitter, and I was like, everyone's talking about Killian Hayes and how great he's been. I was like, I'm gonna put a parlay together for Killian, and it kind of went off a little bit on Twitter. People were laughing at me, but I don't think they realized it was a joke. But Killian Hayes, 10 points, 1 3, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Right now, still in the second quarter, all I need is a Killian Hayes 3. I need 2 more assists and 1 steal. That's all I need.
Might as well light your money on fire.
So all of you guys are laughing. I'm going to make money, and you are not. I shared it, too, for the people. I bet you there's some people who placed it. All right, let's get into it here, though. Braylon Edwards, our own, put out a tweet. And this was a great tweet. I thought it was. Chris, whenever you can, just throw it up there. He kind of gave a scenario here where it was, would you rather
those games.
The number 1 seed by the Detroit Lions and a bye, or the number 2 seed, which gives you 2 home games and no break in your momentum? And it says there at the bottom, there's no wrong answers. I think there's a wrong answer.
100%.
I think there's a wrong answer, and I'm going to break it down for you guys real quick.
Let me just give you my short answer because I just had one line of notes that I took here. It says 1 seed and a bye all day long.
All day.
I don't know why you would ever consider. Yeah, no, we don't need a week off.
That's what I said. And you know what? Right now you can use that as a point, is where by the time the playoffs come, you're going to have guys on the injury report again. And there's going to be a couple guys that are very, very important to your team. And if you have that 1 seed, I can guarantee you a week off does what this week off did for you. And it gets everyone. Majority, I'll say 80% of those guys that you need, your offensive starters, your defensive starters, it gets everyone a chance to heal up fully and get ready for a huge playoff push. Number 2 with that, if you do get a bye and you get the 1 seed, You only have to win 2 football games to get to the Super
Yes.
Bowl. You only have to win 1 football game to get to the NFC Championship. You only have to win 3 to win it all instead of 4. That and if you want to be like, oh, that's not a lot, Booner. 1 football game is a lot in the NFL. If you have to go through, like, especially in the playoffs, if you can avoid playing a playoff game, I don't care if it's versus Saints, Vikings, I don't care. Anything is possible. If you can avoid staying out a week and not getting upset and staying home and getting healthier, I think you have to take it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Even guys that don't show up on the injury report, football's a game where even the healthy guys, you spend 100% of the next week after a game trying to get your body as close to 100% before the next Sunday or the next game as possible. Of course, taking an extra week to get your body right and then be able to prepare for the second round of the playoffs, it's a no-brainer.
Do you know what the biggest thing to me actually is, though? I know I put those 2 points out there. The main thing to me in all of this is I will be very vocal on this. I'm still, no matter what, I don't care where this team's at. If they have a chance to go to the playoffs, I'm going to sit there and root for them to win the Super Bowl. I think no matter what, if you get in, you have a chance. And that might be the fan in me. I don't know. And yes, I'll break it down, whether if they're in a game and I think they might lose this game, I still am going to cheer for them. If you have the number 1 seed, you don't have to go play in Philly in the NFC Championship game. You're playing right down the street here in right down Woodward. Drive up Woodward.
Literally,
you'll see Ford Field up there on your left a little bit, a couple streets over. You're playing at Ford Field in the NFC Championship game if you go there. The Philadelphia Eagles, DeAndre Swift, they have to come to Detroit and they have to play this crowd. And I'll tell you what, if there's an NFC Championship at Ford Field,
oh my word,
that will be one of the biggest games ever in Detroit and in Detroit sports.
Maybe history.
History. It'll be nuts for the amount of years you've gone without a playoff win, without a Lions playoff win, or even a division. The fan base, what it's gone through. If you get an NFC Championship game at home, I'm taking that 10 times out of 10 instead of taking the 2 seed. I want that 1 seed very desperately.
Booner, I think you hit it right there. You don't have to travel to Philadelphia. That's the biggest thing. And the second biggest thing that comes with that is Jared Goff doesn't have to play in those conditions in January in Philadelphia against that defensive line. Who knows what the wind's going to be like. Jared Goff in his own confinements of Ford Field is an elite quarterback. There's no doubt about that. He can run this offense elite, and I like our odds against Philly at home if we get that 100%. In Ford Field. So I'm right there with you. 1 seed all day. I don't think this is too much of a question in my eyes, but
I mean,
those fans would be absolutely insane down in Ford Field. Oh my God. I can't even wait for the first home playoff game, let alone an NFC Championship, Boone.
This offense, yards per game, they're second in the NFL yards per game. Give this offense a dome. Give them Ford Field. And whether your defense is playing great or not, you can get in a shootout with someone. You can get in a shootout with the Eagles, the 49ers, the Seahawks at home and win that game the way this offense is. And I truly, I could be just blinded here and
you're not
tunnel vision, but I truly believe that if you get a 1 seed, I didn't even think about the 2 seed there. The only thing I did, I thought about the momentum a little bit, really didn't care. Because I want to see how they play this week, and if the momentum's not gone, I'm fine with it. Bless you.
And remember, nice. Thank you. Gesundheit means healthiness in German. Getting that once, we talked about it the other day. Right around that time where that first round is going to happen, where the playoffs kick off, that's about the expectation when C.J. Gardner-Johnson might be back. So an extra week for him to get healthy, or if he is healthy, an extra week to get him in game shape, get him ready to go so he can step into that second round, guns a-blazing, even better. And the last thing that we definitely don't talk about very much, but is a concern kind of deep down for me, it's Riley Patterson, who's been okay this season. He's been pretty reliable. He did miss that 26-yarder right at the end of the Raiders game. Not to remind you of that, Booner, but in a dome, there's less you have to worry about. I mean, at least I think he's pretty reliable within 50. It's not exactly an advantage not being able to kick one deeper than 50 yards, but in a dome, I'm much more confident in him than going to Philly, than going to San Francisco, Seattle, all these outdoor stadiums. I'd rather have Riley Patterson in a dome.
I agree. I just don't. I would like to hear an argument, and I don't know if they talked about it on E&E today, or I'm not sure. I wasn't able to tune in, but
about what? If
they talked about this scenario. So if anyone in the chat kind of did, I just would like to hear an argument on why someone would say the 2 seed.
I think I go to the Tigers. I go when they made the World Series against, was it the Giants or the Cardinals?
Both years, I believe.
Both years. They rolled through the playoffs, or at least a round before. I think they swept the Yankees or beat them in 5 games, and then had like a week and a half in between their last game and the first game of the World Series. And in that, they were rolling so much. They were hitting. Their offense was going. Their pitchers were throwing well. That time off made a difference in terms of, especially in baseball, in terms of seeing the ball, your rhythm at the plate, just seeing live pitching. I don't know if it's as much of a difference in football and in professional football too. I think it's a huge difference. Oh, this is a better example. Bowl games in college football. The season ends at the end of November or early December. These teams have to wait a month, sometimes a month and a half, to play in the college football playoff. You don't always get the best game from the Michigan 4 best teams. Yeah, and I'm not using that as an excuse for Michigan. It happens all the time where it's just not the same rhythm, not the same team. Maybe for first half, maybe for the whole game. After having a bunch of kids not having the same rhythm playing each week, it makes a difference. I don't think it does as much in the pros.
Yeah, real quick too, just a couple golf stats for you, just compared to in a dome and away. He's 72% completion percentage in a dome compared to 65 not in a dome. So that's 7%. That's a big deal. And his 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions in a dome compared to 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions not in a dome. So those are just clearly just Jared Goff in a dome, elite quarterback. If you get him away from the confinements of Ford Field, I don't really love that going to Philly.
Yeah, and I'm seeing two, I'm seeing actually separate things here. Eduardo O'Neill, shout out in the Woodward Sports chat. He said we want it straight to the divisional round. Forget the wild card round. That's where I'm at as well. And then Steve Lehman, 2 seed. Keep the momentum. You get 2 home games. The number 1 seed could come out of the bye wonky and get knocked out in the second round. I see that happening as well. At the end of the day, though, the one thing to me that it comes down to is, do you trust in Dan Campbell to keep these guys locked in? I truly do. I think Dan Campbell coming off this bye, you're gonna really notice it on this Sunday, whether or not Dan Campbell can is a bye gonna end the momentum off that last Raiders game. Because if they come out and they dominate the Chargers, then it's you want that 1 seat, nothing. You're taking that. Who cares about a bye? Dan Campbell will have these boys locked in.
Yeah, WWMCDCD. What would Motor City Dan Campbell do?
Can we get bracelets for that?
Let's go. Yes.
Let's do it. All right, when we come back, we actually have this is an interesting segment. I'm actually excited for this one. I did a little bit of prep on this as well to make sure I was prepared. But we're gonna do this where we're gonna kind of not going to fully redraft the NFL draft. We're just going to, and I don't know if you saw it in here, I switched it a little bit, Broder. I put the first 2 rounds. So our first 2 round picks.
Okay, perfect.
So Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. We're going to kind of break down if we did a redraft today. If the NFL draft did a redraft right now, where would those guys fall? And would the Detroit Lions still be able to get all 4 of those guys? And we're going to break it down. That's kind of how I did it. But I'm going to tell you guys real quick about the Lions post-game show. Woodward Sports Lions post-game show. We missed that. But that is Maz. That is Sam Stick Day. 2 legends in Detroit here. Detroit Lions legends as well. Want to make sure you guys tune into that directly after every single Lions game to get the Kool-Aid celebrations. I will always have those. You'll have Lucas usually here. Nick's here sometimes. Different people here in the third chair. It is a great time to celebrate a Lions win on the Woodward Sports YouTube channel. And then you can head over to Planet Fitness.
$10.
Yes, it is the home of the judgment-free zone where anyone, and we mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym that has tons of equipment and a full-body workout in just 30 minutes. And all memberships, they include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in the Metro Detroit area and thousands more throughout the world. That's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best. That means going to Premier Pet Supply, the best pet store in Michigan. They're family owned and operated for over 30 years. They got over 13 locations. Lowest prices, curbside home delivery, and over 60 brands of food. That's right, Premier Pet Supply. Give your pet the best at www.premierpetsupply.com. Yeah.
And welcome back. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network. Appreciate you all locking in with us. If you're on woodwardsports.com, on YouTube, wherever you guys are at. If you're on YouTube, smack that like button for us. Let's get over 100 before the 9:30.
Yeah, smack it for Jeff. Jeff is in the chat. Let's use him. Jeff, I'm pimping you out right now. Hit the likes for Jeff. Hollywood Jeff, actually, really, really great dude. Host of the Morning Woodward Show. Love you, Jeff.
He did put in there. He did put in there. I sent him a parlay, and I texted to him. I was like, "Listen, I don't know if this is gonna hit. I've been cold the last day on parlays, but I'm gonna show this to you if you want to do it." And he put it on, but he changed one leg. And he doesn't think that. He said he doesn't think that leg's gonna hit. So that's tough. Let's get over 100 likes though by the end of this segment. Let's do that. If we do that, maybe we can guilt Jeff into maybe shaving his head again. I don't know.
That would be quite the moment. I don't think he would ever make that bet again.
No, he wouldn't.
Ever.
Broder, you hit someone.
I don't know why that just happened. And that's my guy, Burrow. Did it just unhit him? There we go.
Eric Burrow said, "No, Broder, you are the real GOAT," and Broder muted him.
Stop! I was trying to copy and paste the goats.
What are we doing here?
I was trying to literally copy and paste the goats that he wrote, so I don't have to go into the old emoji thing.
Eric, I'm sorry.
No, that's a humble man right there. That's a really humble man, bro.
Don't call me a GOAT. Don't call me a real one.
Who? That's what he said?
No, that's what I'm saying. You did. You were like you hit it because you were like you didn't want people to see.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm surrounded by so many goats.
Man of the people.
That is great. Again, hit that like button. Share the stream with a friend. Tell some people about the show. Let's keep this thing growing together. You guys are a part of our family here at Woodward Nights. So let's get into it here though. Detroit Lions kind of redraft here, Broder. I thought this was, you texted to me kind of. I thought this was a great segment to where if there was an NFL redraft right now for 2023, where would these Lions rookies fall?
And Booner, what inspired this real quick, and you're cooking right now, so I'll send it right back to you. But the thought, I was thinking about Sam Laporta, and I was like, man, would he be a first rounder? You know, he's playing so well. Like he's perfect for us here in Detroit, but is that how he's viewed for other teams? Like, would he be selected higher? Would a team that didn't need a tight end select him in the first round? That's where this was inspired, and that started working on it. It was tricky to see if these players didn't go to the Lions, like maybe where would they land?
Yeah, and when you sent that to me, I was like, that's great. I love that idea. Excuse me. Oof. Just drank a bunch of water there. Staying hydrated is always Always stay hydrated.
Always.
But we're just going to do the first two rounds. So Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, Sam Laporta, and Brian Branch.
Perfect.
Those four guys, where do they fall if there's a redraft? I think you're able to actually move these guys around a little bit.
Yeah. And I did it the way I said the Lions aren't drafting these guys. Where would they land? Maybe you did it somewhere else.
Actually, you know what I did? I kind of looked at it to where if the Lions had those same four picks and you redrafted today, how many of these guys could you get back?
Got you. Oh, okay.
And I kind of did it. I did it both ways. Like that was the question I asked myself. And then I also did it your way to where if the Lions didn't pick them, would these guys, where would they go? So I kind of did both ways.
Okay, maybe we switch it. You and I reverse it the next time. Anyways, that's cool. Let's get into it.
So Jahmyr Gibbs. This is what I have on Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
I put If you're doing a redraft today, after seeing the last 2 weeks of Jahmyr Gibbs, I think an NFL team, if you did a draft today, another NFL team, whether it's the Lions at 12 or someone say the Lions pass him at 14, 15, Falcons. A team takes him in the top 20 no matter what. I didn't put a specific pick because there is that still thing there. It's a running back, right? And Nick said the Falcons. I don't even think the Falcons would take Gibbs over Bijan. I think they're
happy with Bijan.
I think they are, but I think that if they weren't going to get Bijan, I don't think they're sitting there like, I don't know. That's just how I looked at it. I could be wrong, but
you explained that perfectly the way I was thinking about it. But I picked a team in the top 20 that he would fall to, or if he fell past the Lions, this team would select him, assuming their selection.
I know who you're going to say.
Do you? Yes.
New England Patriots.
Yeah, dude, great guess.
Yeah, I just
great
impressive.
Guess. Yeah, I'm assuming that Christian Gonzalez goes earlier than 17 because before he got hurt, he was playing really well. Now I'm thinking the New England Patriots. I do like Ramondre Stevenson, but that team lacks speed. They lack weapons. They lack Jahmyr Gibbs. They need someone like, if not a top line wide receiver like a Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison maybe. They have a handful of receivers. Let's add to that backfield and think of what the old Bill Belichick and Bill O'Brien could do with a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. So I have him go to 17 of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Good guess.
I do not hate that. The reason I said that, though, is because there was the rumors when Jahmyr Gibbs went at number 12, there was the rumors. The reason the Lions did it instead of 18 is that they were hearing that Bill Belichick at number 17 wanted Jahmyr Gibbs. And a lot of people really got the backlash to Brad Holmes. But Brad Holmes, listen, we don't know what Brad Holmes knows. If Brad Holmes is hearing that Bill Belichick's going to take Jahmyr Gibbs at 17 and he can get him at 12, that's why he did it. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, though, no matter what redraft that happens, he is in the top 20 no matter what. Yeah. I think he solidifies himself as a top 20 pick. Jack Campbell now. He was your number 18th pick, Broder.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... If Jack Campbell, if you did a redraft today, I think the Detroit Lions could have gotten Jack Campbell with that Sam Laporta pick at 34.
So you think he could slide out of the first round?
Yes, Jack Campbell would not have a redraft today, and it's not the way he's been playing. It's just, hey, when you did all of the mock drafts, when we were all doing those, he was late first round, early second. Some people even didn't think he was going to go in the first round. I remember seeing some mock drafts of people saying that after he got picked. I think the way he's been playing, it hasn't been anything to where it's like, whoa, he's a all-pro player. But he's shown a lot of hope, and he's going to be great. I just think if you redrafted today, the Detroit Lions can kind of get him in that Sam Laporta spot and be very comfortable with that.
I don't disagree with you. I have him going in the first round, but that's not to say it has nothing to do with how he's playing. It's just how the value of a linebacker like him. Other teams too might think he could slide to the second. But I had him maybe going to the Cowboys at 26 or possibly the Eagles at 30 to end the first round. Was it Tremaine Edmonds or TJ Edwards moves over to Chicago, so maybe they could use a little help behind Jalen Carter. Although in this, if I redraft Jalen Carter's not falling to 10, but that's for another day. Jack Campbell, Cowboys at 26, Eagles at 30.
Yeah, and next one here. Sam Laporta. Detroit Lions picked him 34th overall. He has obviously been an all-pro. He's a top 5 tight end in the NFL right now. You can argue top 3. I put this in here. Tight ends don't really go that high, and obviously if you did a redraft and you really looked at it, some tight ends go in the top 10. So you can make the argument that if there's a redraft today, there are teams in the top 10 that might go, we probably should take this guy. I would say like the Packers at 13.
Dude, I had them too.
I would say even like maybe even the Raiders at 7 instead of going Michael Mayer later. They skip out on Tyree Wilson, go Sam Laporta, and then go with DN a little bit later. But again, I went at this to where can the Detroit Lions snag all 4 of these guys again? I think at 18, I think that's kind of the pick that he would go to.
Yeah.
Because the first tight end wasn't taken off the board this year until 25. Dalton Kincaid to the Bills. So I think at 18, the Detroit Lions would have found a way to get Sam Laporta at 18.
It's safe to say he wouldn't fall past the Bills at 25. They would take him instead of Kincaid. They took Kincaid. 100%. They take Laporta instead of him. So you got to make that pick at 18.
Did I guess again the team that you had?
Yeah, Packers at 13. I was like, man, Lucas Van Ness, he might slide a little bit, or they might just realize, hey, Jordan Love needs some more weapons up front and a tight end who can block like we've seen Sam Laporta do so far. That could be a nice little spot. Good guess.
Thank you.
But he's definitely a first rounder to me. Some team would find a way.
This is the last one here.
This would be my highest draft pick.
Brian Branch.
Yeah.
Brian Branch, the one who fell all the way to 45th overall. The Detroit Lions traded up with the Green Bay Packers to get this man.
Dude.
Robbed the Green Bay Packers, NFC North rival.
Shout out.
Robbed them and got Brian Branch. Now, this is the one. I remember, I'm looking at this a little different than Broder did it. I did it in the terms, can the Detroit Lions redraft all 4 of these guys with how they've played in a redraft? Brian Branch, I put down. Sadly, there is 0 chance that the Detroit Lions, if there was a redraft right now, the Detroit Lions would not end up with Brian Branch. I do not see it happening. There's no way they could get all 4 of these guys and end up with a guy like Brian Branch again. I do not see it. And if you look at it real quick, Broder, and I'll let you go, I'm looking at the NFL draft right now, right? Nothing, no safety, no safety, no safety, no safety, no safeties in the first round. But guess what? He has been elite, and when he's healthy, he is up there to where he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. We've seen that when he's fully healthy. I think a team, to be honest, I don't want to take your thunder here.
No,
again.
you've been doing it all day. See if you can make it. Would it be 4 for 4? Nah, I guess you didn't really guess Jack Campbell, but let it fly.
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers take him.
Ooh, what is that?
At 14.
14?
Yep. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's a team.
In your scenario, the Packers don't take him at 13. You just talked about maybe Laporta. The Packers, are they now seeing, man, we shouldn't have traded that pick to Detroit. We should have taken him at 42.
Oh yeah, actually.
You know? But my pick, I'm having him go higher. I'm having him go higher into the top 10. Because there's a team that won't have the defensive tackle that they selected. He's going to go higher. That's Jalen Carter. And they need to replace. They need to replace C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
You know what
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Everyone just some round of applause for
you know what I'm saying?
Great thought process there.
He's going to the Eagles. They just traded for Kevin Byard. They have safety needs. They have secondary needs. Brian Branch would have been a perfect replacement for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. But the Detroit Lions have both of them. But he's not. I don't think he's lasting until 18.
No, probably not. And he's been elite. The only thing is, like, you just didn't see any safeties go in the first round.
Yeah.
So he was the first one off the board, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he would have been my first Lion draft pick off the board in a redraft.
No, I'm saying, like, even in this year's draft, just like in the draft process, 90% sure he was the first safety that got drafted in the NFL draft this year.
Oh, he was?
So no safeties went in the first round, and then no one went until him. So that's where I think I don't know if that's just a safety thing in the NFL draft to where, that's not a...
I thought of a question while you were talking that we'll probably have to save and talk about later, but I don't think it's going to be enjoyable.
All right, save it. Maybe if we have time after, I want to hear it.
Okay.
Maybe when we come back, because when we do come back, 9:30 here. This is another interesting one. You know what? When we come back, ask that question, and then we'll do this one.
Okay.
This one we're calling this. This is kind of, we've done the Inside the D a couple times, kind of our Detroit segment. We're gonna go into all the Detroit sports teams real quick.
I have a question to put. I have some. I'm gonna go off here. Not go off. I'm gonna. I got something to say about this. I want to think about this with you guys.
We're talking about the Lions role players.
Yeah, we're talking about the Detroit sports role players.
Sports role players.
Role players in general, but it was inspired by the Graham Glasgow conversations that everyone's having.
I did put 2 questions in the prep. We're going to basically go over who are the best role players within the Detroit sports teams and who are the worst. So the worst ones, that's the one that Broder kind of was texting me and said, there's a couple guys that we need to talk about.
And he's calling them the worst. I'm just using them as examples.
Hey, but they're worse, right?
Yes. Okay. But before we do that, let me tell you about Feldman Chevrolet. They are Detroit's
shout out Feldman too.
#1 Chevy dealer because since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience called the Feldman Advantage. They got 18 locations, so there's got to be a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Just visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Also, catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet Novi every other Monday. Check them out, Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Come hang with the Woodward Sports crew all throughout football season on Saturdays and Sundays. Join our college football and Detroit Lions live watch parties.
Inside the 5, caught, end zone, touchdown Detroit Lions!
With money on the line. Featuring different special guests and surprises. Start times will vary depending on the game. Only on our Woodward Sports YouTube channel.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has been providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, dry-aged beef, and Wagyu beef. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Just visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks. They got tri-tips, sirloins, fillets, New York strips, T-bones. They got it all. Check them out at fairwaypacking.com.
All right, we are back. It is the Woodward Sports Network. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. We appreciate you guys all tuning in here. Make sure you guys, if you haven't yet, we're 7 likes away from 100 likes. Let's get that here by the end of this segment, and we can keep building and building off of that. We appreciate you guys a ton. Quick update, too, as well. The Bucks game. I had a pretty good parlay. The long one that I sent to Jeff, I was telling you guys about. In that parlay, it had Giannis 20 points. He just got his 15th point, and he got his second technical and got kicked out of the game.
The fix is in for the Pistons, baby.
Pistons are going to win the game. It's a lot.
Victor went.
I cannot believe that just happened. And my parlay is dead because I needed 20.
Listen, I'm sorry about that, Booner, but you also can't count out Dame. Dame with a 13-point lead. They can still get this done.
I agree.
But go Pistons.
Go Pistons.
That's pitiful.
It's because he did. I mean, I think it's fair why he got kicked out. He went up in Stu's face and then called him too small.
Yeah, you can't do that with one tech already. I mean, Giannis, just a prick move on his part for 2 reasons. You can't disrespect Stu, and you can't disrespect the lay.
Hey, Peaceful Tim, listen, Booner never loses, though. I didn't lose. What I'm doing right now is I'm getting losses out. So on Sunday when we do the stream versus the Lions, I have all winners for you.
Getting all that.
Think about it. I'm a man of the people here. I get the losers out early on purpose. I win that battle. All right, let's do it, brother. What was the question you wanted to ask? Because we will go over this role player stuff. I want to hear your question real quick.
So if we're doing that redraft, hypothetically, Jahmyr Gibbs, we take him at 12 or he goes before 18. At 18, you have a decision to make, and the other player isn't going to be there at 34. Oh,
I know.
You got to go Sam Laporta or Brian Branch.
Oh, I know.
What do you do? What do you do?
All right, I'm gonna make this clear. Did the Detroit Lions trade for C.J. Gardner-Johnson before the draft?
No, they signed him as a free agent.
Or signed him, before the draft.
Yes.
I'm going Sam Laporta then at that point. Because you already have C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Say you don't know about this injury. If you know how good both players are going to be and you know you have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, you have a top 3 tight end in the NFL.
True. It's a tough one. Let's have a more extended conversation, but real quick, I got to get your guys' opinion too. Not much explanation, but are you taking Laporta or are you taking Brian Branch?
Honestly, I'm taking Laporta.
Okay.
He is on that trajectory to be the best tight end in the league after Travis Kelce retires.
Yeah.
That's honestly the trajectory that he's on, and it is exciting that he is a Detroit Lion.
Love it. It's tough. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you also got to bring in the durability part of it too. You know, the fact that Laporta has been consistently healthy pretty much all season. You got to give him that edge there. As much as I love Brian Branch,
it's a tough one, right?
That is. That's a great question. We should do an extended one on that, and we should also add that 34th pick. Would you rather have? I don't know.
We redo the trade.
We should break it down a little bit more.
Let's talk about let's plan this out a little bit better.
I wish some of these later round picks have been Broderick just started playing, but I wish we were able to kind of break some of those guys down a little bit more too right now.
Yeah,
but
it's
obviously
too tricky.
It will. Yeah. So all right, let's do this. We have about 5 more minutes until the end of this segment. But Broder, you brought this one up as well. Detroit sports role players, whether it's the Pistons, Lions, Tigers, Red Wings. What I did, at least what my notes I did, is I got the best role players from each ones, and I think the most, I won't say worst because that's I don't want to be mean. I'm going to be nice. Be nice, Booner.
No, that's fine.
Be a good person, Booner. I'm going to do... What's a word I'm trying to think of something here.
Worthless, horrible. No, I'm just kidding. Just
I don't know.
Insufficient.
Worse. Yeah, insufficient. Yes, the least insufficient.
That's still terrible.
The insufficient players that are holding back these teams. I'll say that.
Gotcha. So my stuff's more dialogue. So I think it'll be better if I share my thoughts in reaction to yours.
Okay.
Because mine's more just about like. I just want to have a conversation about role players in general, like the difference between Will Harris and Killian Hayes and Javi Baez.
So I did it a different way.
Yeah, but I like what you're doing. This is more.
Do you want me to go through mine and you react to kind of do that? Then
please.
Okay, so I'll go over my best role players.
Yes,
I have 2 for the Detroit Lions, tied for first. I know you're like, oh, Booner, you bring 2.
No, it's fine.
I put Graham Glasgow and Josh Reynolds.
I love that.
I think those 2 guys, huge role players. I would have gone on Alex Anzalone. Don't think Alex Anzalone is a role player.
Yeah, he's
anymore.
a captain. He can't be a role player.
So I think Graham Glasgow, Josh Reynolds. The Pistons. I don't know if you wanted to react to the Lions one real quick, or do you want me to keep going?
Go through them all, and then we'll talk about
Detroit Pistons. This is where I have a little bit of trouble because I look at Cade Cunningham more as just a star, and then everyone else is kind of a role player. So I grabbed 2 because if you guys are like one's a star and not a role player, just let me know and I'll go to the other one. I put Asar Thompson.
Yeah,
and then I also said Jalen Duren.
Yeah, I mean, you literally named the second and third best player. I'm with you though. Like,
but those are the biggest role players, right?
Especially like Asar with his specific role that he's been given on this team, defend the best player and like and cut to the basket, finish at the rim, make the right pass and advantages and 3-on-1s, 2-on-1s, all that. Like Asar has a specific role on this team, and he's filling it very well. I just wouldn't call him a role player.
I'll say Jalen Duren then. I'll go Jalen Duren. I think Jalen
Duren's probably the second best player on the team.
The beef stew, like that's where I'm like.
You did preface it like Cade
is like that main guy.
Cade and everybody else right now.
His support staff. Who's the best?
Asar Duren need to be more than a role player. Yes. As the year goes.
Tigers.
Yes.
Kerry Carpenter.
Oh, that's awesome.
He is the best role player on the Tigers team. He has been elite. Red Wings, I put Lucas Raymond already with 10 points. You obviously have DeBrincat and Larkin, and I think after that, it's like, all right, who is that next guy up? Who is that biggest role player? To me, it's been Lucas Raymond a little bit there. I didn't want to go Mo Sider because he's kind of that on defense. He's that star guy, so I went Lucas Raymond. Those are my best role players from each team.
Can you have Raymond as a role player when he plays on the first line, though?
Yeah.
You can?
I think so.
In the role that he's in?
Josh Reynolds is the number 2 receiver. He's in the starting offense.
It's all about how you view it. It's your opinion.
Just trying to get the shape of
it. I think even in like basketball, you have your 1-2 option, and then the other guys like Draymond Green, great role player.
Elite.
That's kind of how I look at it, and I look at Lucas Raymond as that kind of third piece on that offense with those other 2 guys there. So
I dig it.
What about the bad ones, and then we'll go to break after the bad. And
I have none for the Red Wings. I didn't really know who to pick. I haven't had I don't know.
I'll talk about Jeff Petrie next segment.
Okay, yeah, whatever you want to do with that one.
Shout out to Kaiser.
Javi Baez.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the 3 I had are the 3 that me and you texted about. Javi Baez for the Detroit Tigers. You have him back for $90 million or something like that for the next 4 years. Congratulations, Tigers. You have one of the worst role players back on your Tigers team.
What the fuck?
The Detroit Pistons. People are going to hate this. I'm going to do this until he puts together a full or at least a half a season and shows us. I'm going to go Killian Hayes. Until Killian Hayes can move to that bench spot and do that 10-6. And I know this is good. The whole world burns down when you mention anyone negatively about the Pistons. Pistons Twitter just has a fit about it. I could be like, Joe Harris has been bad. And they'll be like, well, no, he hasn't. You got to pick someone. Killian, I just want to see a large size. I want to see a large sample size, and then we can have this conversation. And then the Detroit Lions, I think we all know it. He had two good games when he filled in, and then he went right back to where he was. Shout out to Will Harris, but Will Harris, I have to throw you in there. That's been the guy that was a little bit of a negative part of our defense when the Ravens game happened.
I'm going to talk about those 4, or those few.
Okay, I'm sorry. I went out.
No need to apologize. That's great. But let me just tell everyone about Mark White and Associates. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the negatives of these role players. Just wait. We're going to have a conversation about them. But when you're buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. So sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That's exactly what you can do with the Mark White and Associates minute-by-minute listing agreement. So check them out, markwhitesells.com, or call 248-290-8242. Again, markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Just in time for football. Glorious. Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in the honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out so smooth. Find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check us out online at www.gloriouscanna.com.
Oh my gosh, a great ad read by Nick there. Hey, we appreciate you guys all locking in with us.
That puts mine to shame. I gotta step my game up.
Yeah, you have to. That man, he dominates the ad reads, man. It is something else. Hey, make sure you guys hit that like button. We're literally 4 likes away. 4 people, hit that like button for us. Let's get to 100 here. Let's keep going with this. I know you wanted to hit on a couple things with this role player thing.
I just want to talk about role players in general. We were talking about the good ones, Graham and Josh Reynolds and Asar and Duran and Kerry Carpenter, Lucas Raymond, the guys you mentioned, but the ones who are on the naughty list, we'll call it, or I'll call it right now. The naughty list. So, to me, all role players aren't created equal. I'm not going to argue with you about Will Harris and some of the struggles he has. He's not the best cornerback out there. I think he's a better nickel DB, but he's not your best option on the field. But there's a reason he's on this team. I don't necessarily know exactly what it is, but when the GM, whether it's any sport, when a GM's building a team, he's not putting from a football standpoint, the 53 most talented, best players. He's not building a team with that. You build it with as many good players as you can. You got to have some guys with certain intangibles, whether that's leadership, whether they're the team mom, kind of organizing off-field, out-of-locker-room activities. There are reasons that coaches and teammates trust Will Harris, and they're a 6-2 football team. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to defend his play on the field all the time, but he's one of those guys. You will never hear one person in Allen Park talk about Will Harris negatively. So, and again, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I wanted to make a point that You need people like that, even on winning teams. I know you guys don't want to see Will Harris out there, but you need someone like that. You move to Killian Hayes. I consider him a role player too. I think he's with the wrong team for where he's at in his development. He needs to be playing. He needs to become a playmaker with Cade Cunningham. It's a very strange situation with Killian Hayes. I'm not over him as a productive NBA player, but he needs more time to develop. He's not the right role player, to me, for the Pistons at this time in their growth. And then lastly, I'll just go to Javier Baez. I had a little bit on Jeff Petrie, but we're running out of time here. But Javi Baez, to me, is a role player, but he was signed by the Tigers as a star player. He was given a star player's contract. He was looked at like the Carlos Correas, like the Trey Turners, and that I don't think is a winning formula, especially in baseball. Javi Baez is the energy guy. He makes some amazing plays at shortstops, but he has a lot of errors. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but he strikes out a ton. He can't provide that consistency to be a star. He needs to be a role player, but where he's at, where he's being paid on the Tigers, he's not doing enough by any means. So
it's that money money to production.
And the Pistons have struggled. The Tigers have struggled. Do you know what I'm talking about with this?
I'm going to give you a great example here, and I've had these conversations a lot. I heard on the Morning Woodward show this Killian Hayes talk, and me and Jeff went back and forth. He's still in the chat here. We went back and forth a little bit about the Killian stuff over text after their show. And my thought process it's on this right here. It's where Killian right now is in a position, and like you said, he's not the right role player for the team right now. And I think the reason is because he's in the starting lineup, and that's not like the level. Like you have to stop. And Jeff explained this to me a little bit as well, as you can't look at Killian Hayes as that 7th overall pick anymore.
Right.
You have to look at him now as, to me, like a 2nd round pick that is holding his ground in the NBA, to where he's going to end up being a guy coming off your bench if he sticks around.
Yeah.
And that's his position. And he is, at the end of the day, getting put in a really bad position, having to be that one of those main guys. And then you have a guy like Marcus Sasser who comes in and who's scoring way better, who I believe just hit a 3, if that was Marcus Sasser.
Because he can hit a 3, and that's what that role that Killian plays on the first line needs to do.
A level you were hoping that Killian would. But Killian still, he does different intangibles correct. Like a guy coming off the bench as like a 6th, 7th, 8th man that you want to come in, play hard, give you 8 to 10 minutes or points a night, give you a couple assists, give you some rebounds, shoot at a high, not a high level, but like enough to where it's like you could trust them on the floor. That's what you need Killian. Killian's out there for 40 minutes a game, and he's playing the most minutes on your team. That's not who he is anymore. Like we know, we've seen him for I don't even know yet.
It might not ever.
Year 4 for him. In year 4, I know it does take guys to develop, but it's year 4, and he's shown he's not a starting guard in the NBA. And if someone looks me in the eyes and say, no, Killian could be a starter in the NBA, you're just lying. Because he's not. A starter in the NBA is, go look at the Celtics right now when they have Drew Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown.
Hell yeah.
Those are, if you want to contend, your Killian Hayes is not a part of that core 5 that you're going to sit there and talk about and be like, yeah, we can go win a championship with them. Do you see what I'm saying here?
There was a time early in Ricky Rubio's career where people lost faith in him being a starter, and he came on real late in his career. Yeah. And I don't know if that's a perfect comp, but I do think Killian's going to be a late bloomer because he has some of those intangibles. He can't shoot well enough yet for this Pistons team.
I don't even think it's like, hey, he needs to be a late boomer. What he's doing now, if he's on a team to where you have a great starting 5, multiple, which you do have that young core here, to where you can have Cade, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Asar Thompson, Beef Stew. If those guys are those 5 in the next year, they grow into I keep comparing it to the Celtics team because the Celtics team grew naturally. They drafted and grew guys naturally. Obviously, they traded for Drew Holiday, but a lot of these guys they drafted and brought in, like the main guys, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And then you go look at, this is where I'm going to throw Killian. This is what Killian should be. A Peyton Pritchard, whatever he pronounces.
He can shoot.
Name. But that he can shoot, but that role. Come in, give us 20 minutes as hard as you can a night, and go get us 8 and 4 assists at that.
How about a Mike Conley later in his career with the Grizzlies?
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard averages 3 and 3. He averages 3 and 3, and he plays 19 minutes a game right now on this Celtics team, who is one of the best in the NBA. Killian, that's Killian's, and he right now he's getting 40 minutes. He's getting 10, 6, and 3. You throw him there in that second spot and you have a legit contending team, he can probably be that guy off the bench. But he's in a position right now where it's like, what are you going to do? And like Pistons Twitter and stuff being up in arms, it's like, there's the extreme side of how bad he is, and there's the extreme side of how good he is, and there's no like middle ground.
I feel like he is right in the middle. Like I don't blame him at all. I mean, of course, I wish he panned out a little more quicker in his career, but I don't blame him. It's tough. I think he's right in the middle there.
That's the biggest thing to me too. Is just people like I talk about Pistons Twitter all the time. I try and stay out of it because there's always those two sides of it where it's like you're either over here and people are going to go at you, or you're over here and the other side's going to go at you. And I'm just like, why can't shout out the Pistons?
Speaking of, Pistons got the lead.
They were down 16 points and they were back.
I think Giannis went out when they had like 83.
Yeah,
probably have 87. It's 90-87 Pistons over the Bucks. That was a nice conversation. Thanks for having that with me.
We'll talk. Let's talk Pistons again. Maybe I'm going to text Kool-Aid and see if we can get him on tomorrow. I would like to get Kool-Aid on. I think he was going to come yesterday, but there was a lot of things that kind of were moving around and stuff. So let's do that. Let's go to break because mailbag here. I saw someone in the chat and said. Who was it? Peaceful Tim said, y'all are missing mailbag. I'm just saying. So we're getting into bed. We'll go a couple minutes over for you guys here. Guardian Alarm, though, let's tell you guys about it here. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians, they take the time to recommend security and automation solutions that are specific to your needs. That is 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian Alarm team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that has been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Make sure for a great defense, you guys call Guardian Alarm right there. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot off the press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. Won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
All right, let's talk about it. It is Outdoor Equipment Co. That is the official equipment provider of the Woodward Sports Network. That is right. Michigan-grown, family-owned, bad boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers. They have everything you need. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. They have everything. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. You could buy it. You can rent it. 0% financing. Delivery right to your doorstep. That is OutdoorEquipCo.com. All right, we are back. It is Woodward Nights, the final stretch here, last segment.
We made it.
We hit 100 likes. We appreciate all of you guys for helping us out with that. It is Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder on the Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, all of that. We're getting into it here, though. Final stretch. We got mailbag. I see a lot of questions already coming in here.
Oh,
I see a couple here. First of all, someone asked, Booner, what's your parlay again, dude? To be honest, literally the only legs that's not going to hit is Giannis fit 20 points. And it was plus 1561.
I think someone asked about the Killian one.
Oh, the Killian one. I can give you guys an update here real quick. Let me see what we're looking at.
Tyler. Shout out Tyler.
Killian Hayes.
Throw it up here again for them.
It's up there. The only thing that I need left is one more Killian Hayes assist, and I need a Killian Hayes 3. And that Killian Hayes...
Killian Hayes 3.
I just need one Killian Hayes 3. I don't know how much he's done it the last couple of games. I just went through and throw some random things in there, so that's it.
I'm gonna go back to back on you because they're relatively similar. Jeff Iafrate asked mail sack who has a better game on Sunday, Goff or Herbert, and then right below that Eric Burrow asked mailbag who has more rush yards Sunday, Montgomery or Gibbs. So two answers in one.
I think in Jeff,
game and rush
this might sound crazy. I do think that Jared Goff has a better game than Herbert. I don't know if you guys the Jets game. Herbert just gets absolutely killed because of that offensive line. I think our defensive line is able, and Alex Anzalone, these linebackers, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell at the Sam spot. These guys are going to dominate, I think, Jared or Justin Herbert in this offensive line. All they have is Rashawn Slater. That's all they have.
It.
That's the only guy they have. I think Goff is going to be able to, with this offensive line fully back, David Montgomery back to kind of set up that run game. Jared Goff's going to have a day, I think. 300 yards, 2 passing touchdowns. I think he has a good game.
I'm with you. I think Montgomery has more rush yards. That's my thing.
Yeah, more rush yards. Yeah, I think Gibbs has more total yards, though.
Yeah. Love that. How about this? Peaceful Tim mailbag. Khalil Dorsey still injured? No, he was a full go today. He is back.
Yeah.
Back and better than ever, they say. We'll see how they do what they do on kickoff. Donovan Peoples-Jones, Khalil Dorsey. Khalil Dorsey is good.
Here's a good one.
Yeah.
The away fan mailbag question.
I love this.
For everyone in the studio. When you go to a dinner and you've never been to, so go to a restaurant or diner. I said dinner, but like if you go
it might be dinner.
Yeah, if you go to a restaurant you've never been to, what is your go-to meal? I'm going to say this. There's 2 different things. One, if it's like a bar or something like that, I'm just going to go a normal, like just give me like your best cheeseburger or like your best burger. Like they usually have different types of burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do burger. If it's like a nice restaurant or something, I'm going to go like some type of pasta, like an Alfredo or, chicken parm or something like that.
Yeah. No, that's good. If I'm on a date or any situation where
Salad.
like no, where you have to worry about your breath and like I'm going with a chicken piccata. A really simple. It's actually kind of boring, but I love chicken piccata.
Worry about your breath.
No, it's true. If I'm going somewhere else, I hit the garlic. I like hit the garlic, the flavors. It's there's a lot of other good food out there, but if you're on a date, you can't have.
Well,
it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of garlic and Caesar dressing.
That breath might be important.
I feel.
Yeah.
What about you? Is that your go-to?
For me, yeah, it is some type of, if you're at an elegant restaurant, it is pasta with a nice glass of wine and and some sort of appetizer for sure. Red wine too, by the way. I don't drink white wine. I'm not a fan of white wine. I'll drink a lot of alcohol, but one thing I don't like is white wine. Not in the slightest. So
hell yeah, I'm with you there.
Nick,
actually.
do you have a go-to?
Go-to what? My bad. 100%.
All right.
I was cooking in here. What up?
He's over there. He's locked into the Pistons game.
Go to what? What's up?
Boys or girls? Just kidding.
Cade Cunningham, 29 points. Right. Pistons coming back. I told you to start this show. Watch out for Pistons sneaking one in.
You said they're going to lose by 60, bro. You walked around the whole studio like they're going to lose by 60.
All right. I said on air that we have a chance to win this game. And we are over here. 60. We need to win this game for next parlay. Let's go. Booner, back to you.
All right. IT Hip said, did you guys agree with Flannel when he said Stan Van Gundy has done more as a GM than Troy Weaver? No. Troy Weaver has been ridiculous. Way better than Stan Van Gundy. I hate Stan Van Gundy, by the way. I hate him as an announcer as well. I hate his brother as an announcer. I do not like him.
I like Jeff a lot. I like Stan as a coach. He was fine. He wasn't the greatest, but he was fine. I thought he was decent, but it was just the GM role was just ridiculous. But remember, that's how you got him. He was going to take the Golden State job, and then Detroit was like, wait, we'll give you full control of the roster too, and he was like, all right, bet.
Hey, this argument here, Jeff Eifredi, this is definitely a Brady argument in the back. Sales guy. Brady's awesome too, Michigan man. Me and Brady had this argument. Would the Pistons or Tigers winning a chip bring more excitement to the city? I'm going to say the Pistons.
Hell yeah.
Broder, you might say the Tigers. I think I'm guessing Brady said Tigers because he's a baseball guy.
Oh, that's a good.
I do think the Pistons, though. I just think there's something like when you see the bad boys that go into work Pistons, and then that. I know the Tigers haven't won in a long time. But it's just something about like these Pistons teams when they win, the city, like remember like the parades and like Ben Walt, like the excitement that everyone.
That's true, but
there's just a different vibe, I think.
And I'm gonna try to avoid the baseball bias. I think I would go with the Tigers, partially because the Pistons have won sooner than the Tigers. Tigers haven't won since 1984, and when they were going on that run in 2012, 2008, whenever they were going on the run earlier this century, the town was electric. Like Comerica Park, a baseball playoff game in Detroit. It's amazing how easy it is to sell out a 40,000 person stadium. It's a lot of fun, and I just think I know baseball's not the most exciting to people right now. The team hasn't been good, but once you get a team in the playoffs, it's a different ball game, pun intended. I think it would be very exciting.
I was just thinking about that one. I think it's an age thing when it comes to baseball and Tiger fans. Like, I don't know if the younger generation is really like as in deep with baseball than the older crowd is. But I've been there for those Tiger games. They're absolutely electric. Every pitch, you're on the edge of your seat. But I would have to go with the Pistons here.
Can I say one thing real quick? And I want to see if you guys agree with me. Like, does LCA need to be more Piston-y? Like, the few times I've been there for Pistons games, it feels like a hockey arena that has put a basketball court in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, all the statue, everything around the arena is Red Wings, which is cool.
They do have a ton of Red Wing statues. They have like all of that. I have not seen, like, they need to like maybe throw in some stuff from the Going to Work Pistons, some Bad Boys stuff. Like, maybe more things around the arena need to be. I do agree with that. It does seem more so as a Red Wings home.
To me, I think it just doesn't feel like home yet because they have never won there. We've had very poor teams. We've never gotten
but the Red Wings
going.
as well, though. That's the thing. It's like,
but the Red Wings have always, Hockey Town. You think Wings? I think if as soon as we start winning, it's going to start feeling more and more like home there.
Yeah. I want to real quick before we end too. And Peaceful Tim said, why can't we all have three? Why can't we have all three at once? LFG Detroit. I do think too. I did bring that prediction up before the season. All these seasons started. I said this year Detroit will have 3 teams in the playoffs. Whether that's I thought it was the Tigers this next upcoming year.
I think so.
The Lions this year, and then I think the Red Wings make it this year as well. So I think 3. I think within the next 2 years we might be able to see 4 Detroit teams sitting and playing in the playoffs. That'll do it for us here. Woodward Nights. We appreciate you guys all. Chris, appreciate you filling in here for Jalen today. Much love every single time you fill in. Tomorrow, make sure you guys tune in 8 a.m. Jeff was in the chat. Morning Woodward show, followed by BDE, E&E, heavyweights, and then we will be back here at 8 p.m. Woodward Nights again. Make sure you guys tune in. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Toodles, my G's.
Love you guys.